Hey guys, so this is my second commentary. I decided to do another one kind of quite quickly after the first. The first one seemed to go down well. Um, and obviously, if this is what people are wanting me to do, I'm more than happy to do it. So before I get into the main focus of the video, I'd like to give everyone just a kind of quick update of what's going on with the team at the moment. Okay, so last commentary I mentioned that we had decided on a fourth player and that we were basically just waiting for the contracts and stuff to be sorted out before we announced anything. Obviously, in the hours after that, things turned to crap fairly quickly. Anyone who follows me on Twitter will know that I posted up something to do with considering retiring. But after speaking to the team and management about our options going forward, I decided that I would stay on and just see how things went. Uh, so since then, we've played with a couple of different players. I won't mention any names, and there was one that kind of seemed to click with a little bit better than the rest. So hopefully, we've made the right decision, and this won't jinx anything. In saying that we have found a fourth, and that we're just waiting on the contracts and stuff to be exchanged, which should hopefully, if I'm right, be in the next couple of days. But you never know. Um, on the same kind of note, we should know in the next 24 hours if we're going to be attending DreamHack. Just with everything that's been kind of happening about the fourths and about losing players and stuff like this, and things are getting a bit kind of close to the booking time. I think it's about 12 days away. And obviously, we're a little bit worried. But the management are still confident that everything's should go ahead as planned, so I'd expect to see us there. I wouldn't think anything else. We're also looking to relaunch the team's YouTube channel, which is 360 Dominance. It should be up either today or in the next couple of days. Depends how busy our media person is, because he's getting swamped at the moment. So go and check that out if you haven't already. Okay, so into the main reason for doing this commentary. I was sent a couple of requests to talk about to kind of how to get noticed by the top teams and to break into a good team to compete at events. So what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about how I got into it at the start, and that might give people some ideas. Okay, so I got into gaming when the PS3 was launched. I bought myself a PS3 in release day. I got just the kind of normal games like FIFA and stuff like that, and Resistance Fallen Man. And around about that time, I just broke up with my girlfriend, who I was going out with then, and I found myself with a ton of time in my hands. So I ended up playing, especially Resistance Fallen Man, a lot, because I was at uni. I think it was first or second year of uni, and I was basically just finishing uni and having nothing to do, so I was just going on and playing the game a lot. And I think I was playing one of the game modes there, Capture the Flag or something, and I got noticed off my very first ever team that was Grumpy Old Dogs, GOD, who obviously asked me to join and told me about how to play in a team and taught me a lot of stuff. And that kind of progressed into me joining the best PS3 team at the time, which was BSE, bit of something extra. They're also the team I attended my first event with. I think we went with 4 teams, like 24 players or something went. I think my team ended up getting 6. But it was really the event itself was really the kind of focal point for me, because that's when I kind of noticed that while everyone else was happy to leave and go back to the hotel after losing or being finished for the day, I kind of wanted to stay around and watch the better players and teams compete. It was really interesting to me because I'd never really seen anything like it before. And it was teams like Reason Gaming and ID. I mean, ID had, I think it was Rumsey, South, Deadbringer, Thalix, and Positive. And Reason had people like Euphoria and Dan and Gunshay and stuff, and Devils. So it was good to see these players and see how they played, and it gave me a real kind of insight and a kind of sense of this is what I wanted to do. So after that, this is when I kind of realised that I wanted to compete properly. So almost as soon as I got back, I knew that I had to kind of distance myself from the BSC thing, but we're more of a kind of social team than anything else. And I started to go full time on the 360, and I played a lot of GBs. At the time, GBs were really fun to play because there was no host putting, there was no cheating, so it was pretty raw, but it was fun. This is when I met Hawker and Arsenal and Wonder and all the Vision guys, because they were quite a good team at the time, and they knew I'd win the LAN event, so we just kind of got to chatting and start playing with each other. This was a team that I would go on to join and take to XL5, and I'd get my first top 3 finish, Vision Gaming. So at the time there was basically only one team that was in an organisation and getting funded for events, and that was Dignitas. Their team was Rumsey, South, Dan, Euphoria and Positive. They, obviously with Rumsey, that had won the previous event, and we were actually the first team to beat them on LAN, and we'd done it twice, though they'll say the second time didn't count, but that's another story. We ended up only losing in the final to a really good TCS team. I can't remember what TCS stands for, but it was led by Dope Goat, and I had like Gunshay and Crazy and stuff like that, and Drama in it as well. Just to show you how kind of good they were. GB at the time was, because the circle wasn't about, GB was kind of where everyone kind of done everything and communicated with each other, and they had 84 wins and hadn't dropped a map, and this was a time when all the top teams were playing GB, so you can imagine playing 84 scrims and not losing a map. It was quite incredible. So they absolutely smashed that event. After that I took a bit of a break for a while because World at War came out and I absolutely hated it. So I stopped playing for about 6 months, and then I kind of noticed that everyone was moving back to Call of Duty 4, which was obviously a game that I knew how to play. So I knew that I could get in a good team. So at the time everything had changed, and it was basically just my rep from the previous event, XL5, that had got me a trial for Royal X, who I'd heard at the time were pretty much one of the best teams going. I had Godlike and Bissell and Toby in it, and we ended up joining them. Weirdly enough, Toby actually didn't want me to join, but it was the other two that got me in. We ended up smashing a lot of teams online, and there was a LAN coming up, EGL Manchester. It wasn't a proper EGL, but it was kind of the starting point of everything. We were confident that we could win. Unfortunately we didn't. I think we either got 3rd or 4th or something like that. What I did get from the event though, the probably most important thing throughout this whole story, was Toby. Me and Toby got really good friends, and we got on outside the gaming, and that was something that would be really important. That's one of the most important things about this whole thing. Because I generally got on with the guy, but it was also important that I considered him good enough to want to team with for the future. Though obviously we ended up not happening Modern Warfare 2, where I got an offer I couldn't refuse from TCM, who later became Fnatic, with Gunshy Excellence and Doped. However, I still maintain to this day that if I hadn't taken that opportunity to learn from the person I consider to be the best mind in Call of Duty, which was Dope Goat, then I wouldn't be where I am today. He kind of taught me the rules and everything that I needed to kind of run a team and teach people how to play and get setups going. He just knew everything about it, and it's a shame he doesn't play anymore. Kind of leave the story there at the moment. So the advice I think you can take from my story, or that I would give people if I could, firstly, try to absorb as much as you can from gaming. When you go to events, make sure you watch the top teams, you speak to the better players. Don't be scared to ask questions or even for some advice. I'm friends with 99% probably of the top players in Europe, and I can safely say that all of them are nice guys, and they wouldn't refuse to speak to anybody. So please, if you see us at events, come up and speak to us. Secondly, try to cause upsets at events, because they're things that will really get you noticed by the top teams. This is how players like Madcat and Josh were noticed for the first time, because they beat Infused in London, and I had a big crowd and everyone was watching it. And especially because when top teams play, other top teams will almost always be watching the game, so it's important. If you get a chance when you're online to get in pickup lobbies with the top players, myself, I try and hold lobbies every day when I can. Some days I miss it. Then try and get in. And once you're in, don't be scared to speak to people and call out as you normally would and ask questions. Try and put yourself out there, because really nobody else is going to. And most importantly, try and build a group of people that you consider good gamers, but are more importantly good friends. There's so many teams who I would say are somewhere between top 5 and top 10, that the only thing they're missing is really getting along outside the game and being friends. I mean, look at me and Toby, for example. Okay, so getting to the end here. So to sum up, the advice that I would give to somebody in one sentence, pretty easy to be honest. Don't aim to get in a top team, aim to make one. Okay, this has been ProjectMak on the channel. Please subscribe and like, and I should hopefully have another video out as soon as possible. Cheers.
capture the objective. It's a draw. Stand down.